last week President Fox came and spoke to us, as you all remember, and he said something that I kind of held pretty close as I prepared for this, and it's that as we move forward, we're facing, I guess as he put it, it was, I don't have my notes. I have my notes. Here we go. He remarked that a positive change often happens when some adversity is being faced. And as we face this question of how we're going to move forward, I think that we have an amazing opportunity in front of us. We can change school, our school, for the better. We can create a new SLU paradigm that will be arguably better than what we have now. And I guess as student delegate, that's my #1 priority. That's what my #1 priority would be. My opponents here this evening have made some great points, things that need to be addressed around our school. Improving facilities, increasing study abroad options, improving the social environment, revitalizing Greek life, and the participation we see around campus in Thelmo. These are all essential to the SLU experience, and they're all issues that need to be addressed by the student delegate. But as audience, I want you all to think about the climate in which we're operating now. And that as we address these topics, we need to keep the interests of the students on par with the interests of the board and the interests of the institution. And I think that every semester I return to SLU, it seems to be better than the last semester I was here. Improvements are always taking place, and as the years come, I want to keep that tradition going while being cognizant of our financial situation.
Next slide.
Thank you.
This first question is for all of the candidates. The position of student delegate encompasses the responsibilities of representing the entire student body. How do you plan on configuring the wills of your constituents and presenting it to the Board of Trustees? We'll start with Wyatt.
I think that, as I just mentioned, my fellow candidates here have done a great job of putting forth what are sort of the perennial issues that we face as students. How can we improve housing? How can we improve dining services? How can we improve just the general St. Lawrence experience? And I think the way that we go about conveying these issues to the board is probably the most important job of the student delegate. How can we take these issues and shape them in a fashion that is attractive to the board so that they want to address them? And more importantly, how can we shape these so that they fit into the board's agenda of cutting costs and finding a sustainable fiscal future for our school? So I think the second part of the question is the important one there, and it's how do we convey these issues? And I think that this position requires a substantial amount of skill and creativity in that framing, and it needs to be understood that this is not a zero-sum game. I want to bring together the student concerns with the trustee agenda and hopefully create compromises that are acceptable for the board and that achieve and meet the needs of the students. Thank you.
I think Wyatt already pretty much said what I wanted to say. That is that this, the way we go about presenting these issues to the Board of Trustees is a very delicate one. And it's essential to do it in such a way, to basically fashion in such a way that it is both intelligible, understandable, and realistic. When talking about the wills of our constituents, I think that the first principle should be democracy, and the fact that those issues that have the most students voicing a concern about should be addressed first, and in that sort of order. That's pretty much it.
Listen. To be honest, I think the simplest answer to that question is to simply listen, and whether that's up at Thelmo and listening to various committees come to Thelmo and voice various perspectives, to sitting in the pub, to sitting on the sidelines of sports matches. I think the most important thing as far as the student delegate's role is to be able to take what they hear from the general student body and to put that into something in a clear and concise manner and be able to present that to the board. I think that I think that as far as a more kind of technical response to how I would do that, as far as obviously my own experience is listening to as many people, but also meeting with the committees beforehand, before meeting with the various meetings before the various Board of Trustee weekends, and trying to convey the interests of the student body in the best possible way.
I feel like in order to get the entire voice of the student body, like I said in my platform, Tim, I feel like open discussions and panel discussions would be the most important way, just because it brings everyone together and it's the easiest way in order to hear everyone's voice. Like I said, you can go to sporting events, you can go to wherever you want, but I feel like in order for the student body to voice their opinions, I feel like open discussions and all that would be a very wise decision. I feel like also, in order to hear the voice of the student body, I feel like personally myself, I would hold office hours just because not everyone can attend a meeting at 7 o'clock or at 4 o'clock or at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I feel like with the more availability that I put myself out there in order for the student body to speak with me, the better. And also, if something does need to be passed that needs to get portrayed to the Board of Trustees, I feel like the most logical approach would be a petition, just because it's very hard to get hundreds or thousands of students into one area at a time in order to discuss with the Board of Trustees. So I feel like a petition is the easiest way in order to represent this person wants this, so you just sign it and you go from there, because it's the easiest way in order to portray it to the Board of Trustees. And I feel like just the most important part is just getting everyone involved. So like the Board of Trustees would love to hear everyone's opinion, but it's not as easy as that. So I feel like just the open discussions and stuff like that, just interacting with students on a regular basis would be a vital role in furthering the relationship with the student body.
All right, so this question is going to be for Tucker and Igor, just the two of you. So first, this is a two-part question. What motivated you to run, and what past experience and your leadership roles qualify you for this position? If elected, you will serve on several different committees and be responsible for student representation on the University Buildings and Grounds University Committee, University Priorities and Planning University Committee, and the Student Liaison at the Board of Trustee Meetings. How do you plan on balancing your time between classes, work, meetings, sports, and other activities throughout the year? We'll start with Tucker.
I've always had a perspective. I often look at various issues and past experiences from an objective point of view. I think the main aspect of me, or motivation for me running for Student Delegate, is recognizing various aspects of campus and of campus life that I can see needing to be improved. And also the simple fact that I love the school, and that I've had a lot of history here, not just with myself over the past 2.5 years, but also with my parents. And they're kind of growing up with this interest and love for St. Lawrence. I think as far as past experiences that have helped contribute to various leadership qualities, I go back to high school, and that would start, I would say, a senior peer leader in high school, which is essentially a mentoring type of position where I was given a number of, along with another colleague of mine, a number of students to help mentor in their freshman year. I was also senior prefect, which was it's a board of a number of students and professors, where we acted on the disciplinary committee, as well as helped relay the various perspective of the students to the teachers, as well as the headmaster and a number of other people at the head of I've also been captains of various sports teams, both in high school, and since I've been in St. Lawrence, I've been a senator for the past 2.5 years. As far as balancing time and being able to accommodate all of this, I think that it's something that we're all university students, and as juniors, as a junior, I've been able to both manage my social, academic, as well as I recently I have played lacrosse for the past 2 years. So being able to balance balancing various issues is something that I think comes with maturity, and we've been able to do since, at least I've been able to do since I've been in school.
Concerning the first part of the question relating to the motivation for me running for this position, I've always been involved in the community, and I've always participated passionately in these sort of activities that were offered to me.